Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at Elementalcore100's Odd Rogue. Odd Rogue, a deck that we have covered in the past. It's actually a deck we used to reach Legend last month. So we definitely have a lot of experience with this deck. I've spoken a bit about it before. And Elementalcore has come up with an interesting take, I think, on the archetype with a couple of interesting changes. For those of you who don't know what Odd Rogue is all about, it's all about being rogue and playing Baku the Mooneater. If our deck has only odd cost cards, it upgrades our hero power. The upgraded rogue hero power is extremely powerful. It gives us a 2/2 dagger, which makes it very good at trading with minions early on. We can trade some health for our opponent's minions, really maintain that board control. And a lot of the deck either helps us maintain that board control or capitalize on it. So we'll go through some of the card choices. We've got a good selection of 1-drops here, Diamol, Firefly, and Southsea Deckhand, though a lot of lists out there do play an extra 1 or 2 1-drops. So we might see Argent Squires, we might see Acris, Veterans, Glacial Shards, these kinds of things, rather than just the six 1-drops here. So that's the first kind of thing that I'm noticing, and this deck plays very differently, or rather the games that you have the 1-drop into dagger into 3-drop are very different to the games where you have no 1-drop into dagger into 3-drop. So that's definitely something to note. Also, I think I'd kind of start cutting maybe Deadly Poisons before I started cutting the 1-drops. We'll move on to the 3-drops. We've got a lot of the very typical offenders. We've got Blink Fox, a fantastic body, a great grindy card. We've got Hench Clan Thug, one of our higher win rate cards. A fantastic follow-up to a dagger on 2. Really helps us capitalize on that. We've got SI7 Agent, which is once again another great body, lets us get around taunts. So in the Zoo Warlock matchup, we can take out Light Wardens and Flame Imps behind a Tar Creeper, which is very useful. And Vicious Fledgling here is one of the more snowbally cards, great way to capitalize on having board control. If your opponent doesn't have an immediate answer, a Frostbolt, a Swipe, a Jasper Spellstone, something like that, the Vicious Fledgling can really help you win games that you otherwise would not be able to. To go with the role players, the glue cards, we've also got a couple of tech cards here. Quite a lot, actually. More, I think, than usual. We've got 1 Death Speaker, 1 Ironbeak Owl, 1 Plague Scientist, 1 Void Ripper. Death Speaker, I guess, is quite good in the mirror. Yeah, in the creature-based aggro mirrors. We've also got Ironbeak Owl, which is probably the most flexible one, great against big taunts, or just generally quite good. Plague Scientist is very good against even Warlock or any deck that has very big bodies and deploys them quite slowly. We can give one of our 1-drops poisonous and start pushing through, though given that we only have 6 1-drops, go figure. And then we have Void Ripper here, which is great against those big toughness, low attack taunts that come out of Druid and these kinds of decks. We can flip those, make it for an easier trade, and also just has a great body there. Moving on, sorry, to go back there, I think this is maybe 1 tech card too many, especially because, as you can see, we have started cutting into the consistency of the deck by cutting the 1-drops. We've even cut like a Cobalt Scalebane here, so I think this might be one too many. Speaking of Cobalt Scalebane, onto the 5-drops, we've got 1 Scalebane, 2 Fungals, 1 Leroy, 2 Vilespines, no Captain Greenskin in here or anything like that. So very kind of typical lineup of 5-drops, though most do start cutting the Scalebanes first. So Fungalmance is a great way to capitalize on being on board, same as Scalebane, and Vilespine is just one of the best cards in the deck, one of the best ways to keep you in a game or tempo your opponent out. They keep trying to play minions to stabilize, and you just have the Vilespine on point. Definitely one of the best cards in the deck. And lastly, the last kind of, I guess, tech card in here is Sprint. And I'm kind of in two minds about Sprint. On one hand, I can definitely see us losing a bunch of games where, we don't have much of a board, we cast Sprint on 7, and then we still don't have a board and we just die the next turn or a couple of turns after because our opponent was kind of we didn't do anything to stop our opponent from just doing things, which is kind of the MO of the deck. On the other hand, I can see Sprint being potentially an excellent finisher. You know, we can draw into things like Southsea Deckhand, Leroy Jenkins, Cold Blood. So if our opponent doesn't have a really on-point answer after the Sprint, we might be able to kill them with some kind of combination of those cards. So we'll jump into a game and see how we do.
Valera versus Anduin. The light shall bring victory.
Against Mr. Chilibin.
You're back.
Do we want to keep this Southsea Deckhand against Priest? Probably not. Doesn't match up well against Northshire Cleric. I think we'd rather have it later to combine with Cold Bloods. Okay.
None will survive.
No Northshire Cleric. So we got to be wary of Duskbreakers. We'll hold these down just for one turn. So if our opponent has Creeper here, I think we Ripper and then trade the Diamond.
Must consider.
This is one of the
Let the pain speak to me.
interesting. So we can Void Ripper here, but it does set us up pretty badly against the
So many options.
against the Duskbreaker. But I think we're running into a Duskbreaker almost no matter what we do. We don't really have the
Reality breaks.
Here we go.
we just don't have the tools. They don't have it though. Coin fungal. Coin fungal?
I wonder.
Or are we Firefly Plague Scientisting?
Mushroom power! You cannot run.
So if they were sandbagging the Duskbreaker here, they do get rewarded. So they can hit the Twilight Drake into the Void Ripper, Duskbreaker. Clear our board, leave them with the Duskbreaker. We get to follow up with like... Ooh. Lifesteal. We might have to give them another 6 life here. Just a turn too late, hey?
Calm down! I'm a doctor! Mushroom plants!
Still going to hold these daggers. So now we get into the territory of Psychic Scream. So it's that the weird part of the game where, like, yeah, we don't want to overextend too much into the Psychic Scream, but we also want to make sure we still have pressure on them. We obviously, last turn, holding this Flame Elemental to combine with our Vile Spine, especially because of the reduction in 1-drops. We really need to be careful with saving our combo enablers. I think we can do it this turn.
I wonder.
Yeah, make sure that they...
Here we go.
So they'll Scream here, then we can follow up with like Blink Fox Fledgling. Or maybe Blink Fox SI7. No, we should go Fledgling. I think that might...
You have better.
I just don't have it. Didn't they Shadow Visions twice? Oh, very, very weird one. Oh, guess they didn't have it.
Valera versus
Okay,
Mayhem.
Rogue Mirror.
None can escape my fury. Watch your back.
Fletchling against Rogue. I think this is one of the riskier threes to keep. But Diamol's really good. See if we're both odd.
None will survive.
A bit of a turbulent matchup here. Blink Fox is very good. As we kind of said in the opening video, Blink Fox is one of our like grindier cards, and this matchup tends to get pretty grindy. Oftentimes, you'll what do you got? Coin another one. Coin fly. So if we suspect that our opponent is daggering next turn, do this, they'll dagger, probably trade in here, then we can go Fledgling, and then it's up to our opponent to have the answer, which could be a deadly poison, could be a... What do we go? Blink Fox. What are our opponent's answers? Deadly? Set South Sea Deckhand. What else could they have?
I wonder.
Ironbeak Owl is not so bad. Not the best or worst. Tar Creep would be pretty bad. I think we go for it.
Here we go.
See what our opponent has. What you got? I notice Mooney Ponds is closing. What? Thanks for letting me know, Roddy. NLG Mooney Ponds. What the heck? We were closing due end of lease. Does that mean that... Oh, that mean they're opening up another store? What happened? They had the deckhand. Heck. People protesting Games Lab? What are people protesting Games Lab about again?
Who goes there?
The paying to sit down. I mean that's been an issue since they introduced it. Not necessarily a recent issue, but I'm up and down on it. Like, I understand why they do it. You know, that's they're in an area where they get lots of foot traffic, lots and lots and lots of foot traffic.
Here we go.
Calm down! I'm a doctor!
Job done.
It is possible we should have just daggered there. But yeah, they get a lot of foot traffic, and you know, you get a lot of people in there who just kind of taking up space, not spending a lot of money, and you're the one paying for that space, so it's like you're letting people use something that you're paying for free. Man, it's a very weird thing. Good draw. Really answer back with this Vile Spine of their own. These Cold Bloods. This is one of the worst matchups for Cold Blood.
The light.
Unless you can get out early. So Vile Spine on my Vile Spine. Mooney Pond's closing down. That's interesting. It's been an absolute pleasure. Interesting that they haven't mentioned anything about like opening up another location or anything like that.
Mushroom power!
Here we go.
Game stores come and go. Well, that's the thing. Is the only reason that we're seeing so many come and go is because there's too many. There's simply too many. At one point there was like 12 Advanced Plus stores in Victoria, and now there's only more. So like, yeah, sometimes.
I sense your struggle. Mushroom
Here we go.
And when you have that many stores competing for customers, and then you know Magic has in the last 2 years not necessarily had the greatest couple of years, still very good, but comparatively not the greatest. We're going face now. One face now. Oh, Blade? That makes a lot of sense.
folks. Who goes there?
Here we go.
Yeah, we just had so many stores open up. So it's inevitable that if you're trying to divide, if the pie is not growing to an equal amount as the amount of people trying to get a piece of the pie, then, stores going out of business.
Go ahead.
I think you also have to look at things like, you know, yes, Lab people might have issues with Lab for various reasons, but they're doing a lot of really interesting stuff. Like they're trying to market themselves more to casual fans.
Reality breaks.
Here we go.
I'm not a fan of the saying having your cake and eat it too. I think that's one of those quotes that's commonly like misquoted. Like one of the ones where the final meaning is like, or the common final meaning is maybe inaccurate to the original intention. Yeah, that's right. Beelzebub's got it. It's also commonly, I think there's a comma in there. Have your cake, comma, and eat it too, or something like that. And that's how they, isn't that how they discovered some serial killer? Anyway, we're very dead here, but they all scare.
This guy's toast.
Interesting. If we had got a deckhand, we probably would have been able to kill them. But as you can see, a pretty grindy matchup, and with those cold bloods in our hand, I want to do the worst cards in that mirror to draw. So that's just the way things go. We'll try another.
Illyria!
Okay.
Tremble before the might of the elves. Watch your back.
Hunter, a pretty interesting matchup. Tempted to keep the Blink Fox, but I think we'll go all out and try and hit those 1-drops. If that Blink Fox was something like a Vicious Fledgling or a Hench Clan, Beautiful Pig Son, I think we'd keep that. But
None will survive.
what are we against? Death Rattle. Probably Death Rattle or mid-range. See if they got the turn 2 Wandering Monster. We'll gladly throw our daggers into it. Tracking. If our opponent just trackings and passes, I think we're coining this Fledgling. So, what do they got? They got an Animal Companion for us. Could have a very desperation
Beast will
handle
not
shot,
be tamed.
but no. Alright. Let's get Fury first time. Ugh. Stealth or plus health? We'll go stealth.
Here we go.
Yeah, I didn't mind the old system where you go to sit if you made a purchase, but having to pay flat out is pretty bad. I thought their model was you could pre-book a table, so you'd also turn up, but if they were full, it was just bad luck, so you could just turn up and not have to pay.
This guy's toast.
Here we go. Here we go.
Not hitting that that Wind Fury is kind of quite frustrating. Also awkward that, you know, if we had chosen health before, you know, it could have been in a much better situation. So we can Death Speaker Cold Blood?
I sense your strength.
Hey, lights out.
Come on. Wind Fury. Finally. Alright. +1/+1 means we are out of the range of flanking strike. You have to pay even if you just turn up. All tables are basically booked. That was my understanding of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of changed over time. But you know, they view themselves, whether it's, you know,
What
they view
to
themselves
do?
as the premium store, and their space comes at a premium. That's GG, friends.
Masterful.
Oh, we don't even get to pick from like Wind Fury, Poisonous, and Taunt. Dang. All right, let's take a look at the deck. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see a lot of the kind of issues that we pointed out. The Death Speaker was pretty handy in that that last game. We'll admit we hit 1-drops pretty consistently, and we never got to play the sprint. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of extra data to kind of compare this Elemental Core deck to maybe the standard Odd Rogue or anything like that. I think that if you were going to play Odd Rogue, this is probably a good place to start. Just be aware that cards like Death Speaker, Plague Scientist, Void Ripper, not at all necessary. You can certainly replace them with, you know, things like Tar Creeper, more Iron Beak Owls, more 1-drops. So outside of that, it is a relatively budget deck, you know. Just the Leroy and the Baku. Definitely recommend this one for laddering up. Other than that, if you are watching this video on YouTube, links will be down in the description, including a link over to the Hearthstone article, so feel free to go over there, leave some thoughtful opinions, give the deck a +1. Other than that, all my links are down there as well, including a link to Twitter, which is the best place to catch me, and if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I am looking to hit 500 subscribers sometime soon, and when we do hit that, I'm going to do a really fun stream for everyone. It's going to be very Vaporwave themed. So yeah, until next time, do remember to stay wavy. Bye.